Hello and welcome everybody. Death's Crowbar here with you today. And as well, konnichiwa. If you're looking at this, you probably noticed the title of it and might be a little confused, might be a little interested. So let me just get down to business. To defeat the Huns. Anyway, so my plan in the next year is to move to Japan and teach English as a second language. Over the course of the next 6 months or so, I'm going to be working on my TEFL courses to get my TEFL Level 5 certificate to help with teaching English as a second language. Some of the programs require it, some of them don't. It's better, in my opinion, just to get it anyway. So I'm going to go through on how I'm getting that, and I'm also learning Japanese, learning hiragana, katakana, learning how to speak Japanese some, and read it some, and going to try and memorize some of the kanji, though I'm sure that won't be completely easy. From what I've seen, Japanese isn't the easiest language to learn. It might be the hardest outside of English, because English is considered widely one of the most difficult languages to know. This is actually going to be my fifth language, I think, to work on, because I know English, I know some Latin, I know some French, and I know some Spanish. Spanish was the hardest one for me because I'd already learned a good amount of Latin and an okay amount of French, though I'm not great at speaking either of those right now. But needless to say, once you learn one or two other Romance languages and you're trying to take tests in class about Spanish and stuff like that, it can be kind of difficult. You'll write down the wrong answer with slightly wrong conjugations or things like that because it's like, oh yeah, it's obviously this thing, which is kind of right, but not completely right because you just wrote down the French answer or the Latin answer or something like that. But I don't think this will be way too difficult. So many people throw things out of proportion, in my opinion, when it comes to academia and learning, and put everything as extremely difficult stuff to do that really is just you have to take time every couple days or every day and work on it. And most people aren't willing to put in the effort. I'm currently using a couple of different apps, and I might make a video about that separately on what I'm using to learn Japanese. I'm hoping to get some manga and some other books to help me with reading and learning it. And I also watch anime, though that might not be the best way to try and actually learn the language. But yeah, I figured I'd make this video and kind of introduce what's going on. I know I hadn't done a video for 4 years until the other day, and now I'm coming out about moving to Japan, and that might be a big change for anyone who was a viewer before. And just to explain a little bit about what's going on right now, if you saw my last video, which you really don't have to, it was essentially an apology to a lot of my friends who I've hurt over the years, and an explanation of some of the stuff that's gone on during college. But that mixed with some issues I had over the last couple months when I was heavily medicated at one point and ended up kind of being introspective and seeing what I thought life would be like if I kind of stayed here and whether I would like that or not. I decided I wouldn't and that I would need to change something. But I had still planned to stay here in Magnolia in Arkansas for as long as I could. And then when my roommates told me that they were deciding to move out, I decided that I could look at a whole lot of different avenues in life. Originally, I was going to try and stay here for as long as they needed me for, and things like that. But now I'm going to focus more on myself with stuff. And after watching some Chris Broad recently, which, if you guys haven't seen Abroad in Japan, you absolutely have to. Nothing I do here is going to compare at all to what Chris Broad does, and for the next year, I'm still here in Arkansas, so it's not like you're going to get any information from me about Japan that he probably doesn't already have, that he doesn't have a better video on. I'm hoping that when I move, things will be nice, and I might make some friends there in Japan. Um, get some to help me speak the language, who I can also teach a little bit more about English. And then also hoping that I'll get to meet some of the other gaijin that are over there, some of the other foreigners, people such as, let's see, Gigik, people such as the anime man himself, Dr. Jelly, and that's a joke from Chris Broad's channel. So, if you, his real name's Joey, but watch Chris Broad. I promise you, it'll be great. And maybe being on like the Trash Taste podcast, maybe getting to meet Chris and some of his friends that are Japanese. I think that would be really fun. Right now, I'm just kind of looking for a change of pace, though. I've lived in Arkansas pretty much my entire life, and things have kind of gone very similar for a long time. Don't get me wrong, I had my days with cancer and things like that, and that was different, and it was rough. It's not something I necessarily want to go through again, but it definitely had some differences to it. But everything's been very... I don't know, other than some social things, everything's been easy right now until in life. I want to do something hard. I mean, college is... I don't even try. And there's a lot of different things where I don't try and I can easily just get by, or in college make A's. And I want something that's going to challenge me some. I want a different change of pace. I want different scenery. I want things to be just a little different. I've talked to my parents about this, and they're kind of surprised about it. Now, my dad, who is in prison right now, there's not much he can say other than we get to visit each other less in person, but I can still do some online stuff with him. And my mom's a little surprised, but she grew up in the Philippines and stuff, so she kind of understands the idea of going to other countries and wanting to live there for a while. I haven't really told my siblings yet, not that most of them will care. And I'm really, other than kind of mentioning the idea of it on Facebook a little bit and Twitter, I haven't really been public about it until now. Like last night or today, I finally posted about my plan on Twitter. And if you're not following me on Twitter, you can feel free to. But yeah, I figured I would set up some sort of series here. This would be the first video. And just discuss how things are going and what I'm planning to do and where I am in my studies and what I recommend, things like that. I've heard a lot about different language programs, for example, and I'm trying to decide which one is best out of the ones I'm using, which programs I enjoy the most. And I kind of hope to share that with other people. Learning a language isn't easy. Taking a course to teach languages isn't necessarily easy. And doing all of this while in grad school, in my last year of grad school, isn't necessarily going to be easy either. Moving out of country at the age of 25 with nobody I know in the country I'm going to, it's going to be different. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be hard, but I'm hoping I'll really enjoy it. I've talked to some of my friends here who I've been discussing this with about eventually, if this happens and I stay in Japan for a while, having some of them come out and visit me and go eat Kobe and sushi and all sorts of ramen and things like that. Have a fun day with it, fun week or two, which some of the benefits over there are a whole lot nicer, and that is also something that's inclined me to do it. As somebody who has chronic autoimmune disorders that has to be treated all the time and can't afford the medication because it literally costs more than I currently make in a year for one injection that I need 4 times a year. There's nothing I can do here other than either try and be poor enough to stay on Medicaid and afford it, or make enough money and work at a good enough job to not have to worry about it. And either one of those is kind of a toss-up right now. The U.S. economy hasn't been doing the best, no thanks to our president, really. I haven't really liked the social unrest that's going on. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy the social change. Black Lives Matter and everything. I approve of a lot of what's going on, and I think some of the politics and stuff are right now. But, we're kind of looking like the dunces on the world stage right now, as one of my friends and I discussed, who he's also planning to do the same sort of thing. And I don't know, I kind of don't want to be associated with being that kind of crazy. I mean, all when it comes to the coronavirus, just stay home and wear masks, and people think it's the worst thing ever. I disagree with it. As somebody who's been through chemo and cancer and stuff, I know that wearing masks can help and keep people safe and help people with autoimmune systems. And then the other thing is, as far as benefits, is like in Japan, there are more vacation days than you generally get in the US as far as paid vacation and things like that. I remember my dad working his ass off as an RN just to get not even paid vacation, but get vacation days he can take off to do stuff with us when I was a kid. And I don't want that to be my life. I want better for myself. And if I eventually ever have kids, I want better for them. So I'm going to try and change things. Oddly enough, a guy from America thinks Japan is a better place for the American dream than America is right now. I'm planning to start using some different hardware. I've got a standalone mic I hope to get from one of my roommates soon, which I'll start using for recording instead of just the headset. Though the headset is nice in my opinion, and I'm thankful to the guys at Astro, and specifically my friend who gets me the stuff that I get from Astro. He's a pretty great guy, and I really appreciate him for it. I've had these ones for 2 or 3 years now. I think he got them to me, 2016 think 2018. So yeah, two years or so. They're great. My first pair of Astros I still have. I'm loving them. But I want to be a little more professional with this. And although I'm still going to probably do a lot of my off the cuff vlog style stuff that I've done in the past, where I mainly get the ideas jotted down in my head on what I want to do, what I want to talk about, and just talk from there and not edit. I do want to be a little more professional with it. I'll try and start editing some, but I can't let editing take up most of my time if I'm trying to learn a language, learn how to teach a language, finish grad school, and save up enough money to make it to Japan. So it's kind of rough with that, but maybe once I make it to Japan, I'll actually have a little more time to work on editing and making some interesting videos, get myself a GoPro, things like that. I'll try and do some of the same stuff Chris Broad does, just vlog about places I like to go, things I like to do there, but we'll see. We'll see what happens in the future. Honestly, I'm a big fan of Chris, and I might rip him off a little, but I think he'll be okay with that. And then as far as how long I'm going to stay in Japan, I don't know. I'm hoping to work at least 2 to 5 years there. And at the 5-year mark, I might decide to stay. I've been thinking about it a lot and the benefits that there are there and the opportunities I have as an English speaking Westerner are pretty good. I can teach English to a whole lot of people, a whole lot of schools, businessmen, potentially the universities. Once I've got my master's and maybe even doctorate, I could do a whole lot with it. So I'm going to see about it. I'm just going to go with things as they come right now. And then one other reason I choose Japan specifically is just, I don't know, it feels right. Something about it has called to me for a long time. And I haven't really talked about that before with anybody. I used to have dreams about, like, Mount Fuji and stuff like that when I was a kid. And this calling has just gotten deeper over the years. When they announced that the Olympics were going to be in Tokyo, I knew I really wanted and had to go there at some point. And I was just trying to find the right time. Originally, the plan was to be after I got my bachelor's. Then I got my bachelor's and realized I didn't have the money or the resources to do that yet, and I needed something to do, so I worked on my master's, and now that I nearly got my master's done, I've decided what I want to do, where I want to go. It's a big decision. I don't think I have come upon it lightly, but that's my goal in life right now. And I think for a long time I haven't had a goal in life. That's been rough. Back when I wrote for Christian Gamer, that was my goal. Being a game journalist, going to cons, working events. And as my arthritis and things have gotten worse, I work events less. As my time has gotten more scarce, I work events less. As the people I knew who wrote in game journalism and the websites I used to work with have been disappearing, I write less. I haven't written in a long time. And so I kind of got lost. And I think now I've found where I'm supposed to go with things and what I'm supposed to do. It's almost a religious experience, a religious kind of calling in me right now. Now, that's not to be confused with the call, as they call it in Christianity, or anything like that. And don't get me wrong, I keep my religion and my faith, but something somewhere in me knows that I need to do this, and so I'm going to get it done. And I'm going to use YouTube and my friends and everything else to hold me to this, to keep me upright, and to make sure I do what I need to keep me to my studies in Japanese and my studies to teach English, everything like that. Now, I'm not planning for most of my videos to be, let's see, we're at 21 minutes right now, to be this long, but this is a little bit more explanatory on everything that I'm planning, why I'm planning it, and things like that. Don't get me wrong, things like food are a matter there. As far as health as well, a place that has a lot of biking and walking that I can do to get places is going to be helpful. And I want to be better. I want to be fitter. I'm going to be working out this year as well. So we'll see how it all goes. And I'm going to try and keep you guys up to date. To all of you who are subscribed and are back here, thank you so much. To all of you watching this video, thank you so much. Domo arigato. I know I might not be saying that completely right, but I'm still working on things and I'm still learning. And I can mess up right now. I mean, we all can mess up at times, and we all can get better. But thank you. To those of you watching who think this is going to be interesting, please share this. Like it, comment, share, send it to your friends. Get me some more subscribers. If you think a Patreon or something else would be great, let me know. I wouldn't mind setting something like that up with some benefits. We can work that out. If you think a GoFundMe or anything like that would work well, let me know and I'll work with you on it. If you want to start a Discord, let me know and I'll work on that as well. I'm even up for a podcast, starting to talk about where I am with other people and maybe get some co-hosts where we can speak a little Japanese and try and hold each other accountable on things. And what's the news? What do we think of these programs? How have things changed in stuff? How politics may be affecting stuff. So yeah, please share it out. Please like it. And thank you. Thank you all. And as always, to all you nerds out there, to all you gamers, and to all you geeks, keep doing what you do. This is Death's Crowbar, signing out.